He stood there, frozen. A crowd of hundreds staring, waiting, expecting him to speak. But his lips wouldn't move. His voice gone. His heart pounded so loud it drowned out every thought in his head. And in that terrifying silence, a voice inside whispered, "You're not good enough." He believed it. He walked off that stage that day, humiliated, defeated, broken. But what he didn't know was at this exact moment, the one that shattered him was about to unlock something extraordinary. Because the secret to unstoppable confidence isn't found when everything goes right. It's born when everything falls apart. Since you were a kid, you were told confidence is something you have. You either have it or you don't. But that's a lie. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice. But here's the catch. Most people never build it because they're too busy protecting something that doesn't even exist. They protect their pride, their image, their comfort. They hide behind excuses like, "I'm just shy. I'm not ready. I'll do it when I feel more confident." But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel fearless. You earn that feeling by walking through fear, not around it. And the truth? Every person you've ever admired for their confidence was once terrified too. The difference? They moved anyway. Let me tell you about a boy. He used to stare in the mirror every morning, trying to find something he liked about himself. But all he saw were flaws. Too skinny, too quiet, too invisible. At school, he'd keep his head down, afraid to speak up, afraid to be seen, because being invisible felt safer than being rejected. One day, his teacher called on him to read aloud, and his hands shook so hard he dropped the paper. The class laughed. He froze. And in that moment, he made a silent promise to himself. Never again. Never again would he let people see him. Never again would he risk that kind of pain. So he hid, behind fake smiles, behind silence, behind "I'm fine." But years later, something changed. He saw a man on stage. Calm, charismatic, the kind of person everyone listened to. And he thought, I could never be like that. But then, that man said something he would never forget. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. And for the first time, he realized the mirror had never been a problem. It was the voice behind it. Let me ask you something. Who is the loudest person in your life? No, it's not your parents, not your boss, not your friends. It's you, that voice inside your head. It's always talking, telling you who you are, what you can or can't do, what you deserve. But here's the secret most people never discover. You are not the voice. You are the one who hears it. You can choose what it says. And if that sounds too simple, good. Because it is. When that voice says you can't, you answer, watch me. When it says you'll fail, you answer, maybe, but I'll try anyway. When it says you're not ready, you whisper, neither was anyone who ever did something great. That's how confidence is built, not in loud speeches or perfect poses, but in silent rebellions against your own doubt. Every time you act in spite of fear, you teach your brain a new truth. I am capable. Here's what most don't know. Confidence has layers. Layer 1, the surface. It's how you walk, talk, and carry yourself. People see this part. It's useful, but fragile. Because if you only look confident, one failure can break you. Layer 2, the skill. Confidence built through competence. You practice. You fail. You improve. You earn trust in your abilities. That's real, but it still depends on performance. Layer 3, the core. This is where unstoppable confidence lives. It's not built on success. It's built on self-trust. The belief that even if everything goes wrong, you'll still find a way. When you reach this level, you don't walk into a room needing approval. You walk in knowing you belong there. And no rejection, no failure, no opinion can take that from you. Because confidence isn't about being better than others. It's about being at peace with yourself. But let me tell you something dangerous about confidence. When you start to believe in yourself, The world will test you. It will send storms. People will doubt you. Friends will disappear. Opportunities will collapse. And you'll wonder, was I wrong about myself? But listen carefully. That's not the universe punishing you. That's the universe preparing you. Because the moment you step into your potential, you become a threat to fear, to doubt, to mediocrity. And those forces won't go down quietly. Every challenge you face after you decide to believe in yourself isn't a sign to stop. It's a test to see how badly you want it. The fire you walk through doesn't destroy you. It forges you. And those who survive the fire become unstoppable. Remember that boy who froze on stage? Years later, he stood on another stage. Same lights, same silence, same pounding heart. But this time, he took a breath. He smiled, and he spoke. The words didn't come out perfect. His hand still shook a little. But when he finished, the crowd clapped, not because he was flawless, but because he was real. And in that moment, he realized confidence was never about being fearless. It was about showing up even when you're afraid. It was never about proving yourself to others. It was about proving something to yourself. That you can fall and rise again. That you can tremble and still move forward. That you can be afraid and still choose courage. That night didn't make him perfect, but it made him free. But here's what nobody tells you. The higher your confidence grows, the more the world will try to shake it. Because confidence isn't just power. It's dangerous. It threatens those who gave up on their dreams. It makes the insecure uncomfortable. It exposes the excuses of the average. That's why confident people are often misunderstood, called arrogant, lucky, fake. But the truth is, the world doesn't hate confident people. It hates the mirror they hold up. Because when you stand tall, you remind others of how much they've been crawling. And that's why you must protect your confidence. Like a flame in the wind. Don't let the noise blow it out. Don't let their doubt drown your fire. Because once you lose faith in yourself, you give away your greatest weapon. So how do you build it? How do you become unshakable? Start small. Speak up when you'd rather stay silent. Try when you'd rather quit. Show up when you'd rather hide. Do this daily. Because every small act of courage compounds. Every time you follow through on your word, you strengthen trust in yourself. And one day, without realizing it, you'll look back and see that the person who once doubted everything has become unstoppable. You won't need motivation. You won't chase validation. You'll just be. And when fear whispers, you can't handle this, you'll smile and say, watch me. That's when you'll know you've crossed from borrowed confidence to true confidence. Confidence isn't built in comfort. It's built in conflict. It's not found in applause. It's found in silence. It's not a gift. It's a decision. You don't wait to feel confident. You act your way into it. And every time you rise after falling, every time you speak when your voice shakes, every time you try when no one believes, you are proving to yourself that you are enough. Because confidence isn't something you learn. It's something you remember. Remembering who you are. Remembering what you've survived. Remembering that the voice inside that says, you can't, has always been lying. The truth? You were born to walk boldly. You were built for challenges. You were made to shine. And no fear, no failure, no opinion can take that from you. So today, before you scroll away, pause. Ask yourself this. What would I do if I stopped waiting to feel confident? Who would I become if I acted as if I already were? Then go do it. Even if your voice shakes. Even if your hands tremble. Because courage doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you move anyway. And the moment you do, you'll realize the truth. The secret to unstoppable confidence was never out there. It was always inside you. You just needed to believe it long enough to see it. But here's the twist. What if the real secret to confidence isn't about what you believe, but about what you let go of? He looked calm on the outside, smiling, laughing, shaking hands, pretending everything was fine. But inside, he was sinking, not because he wasn't good enough, but because he was carrying too much. Too many expectations, too many opinions, too many voices telling him who he should be. Every step forward felt heavier, every dream further away. And then one day, standing in front of the mirror, he realized something that changed everything. He didn't need more confidence. He needed less weight. Because sometimes you don't grow by adding more. You grow by letting go. Everyone talks about how to build confidence, but almost no one talks about what kills it. It's not failure. It's not rejection. It's not even fear. It's attachment. You start attaching your worth to everything. Your looks, your results, your followers, your achievements. And suddenly, every little thing outside your control controls you. If people like you, you feel good. If they don't, you crumble. If you win, you're unstoppable. If you lose, you disappear. That's not confidence. That's dependence wearing a mask. And the more you try to protect that mask, the more you lose sight of who you really are. There's a story of a man who chased success for years. He worked longer than everyone, spoke louder, smiled brighter. And one day he got it. The job, the car, the applause. He stood on stage, holding his award. But when the clapping stopped, so did his joy. Because deep down he knew he didn't win because he believed in himself. He won because he couldn't stand to lose. That night, he looked at the trophy in his hands and realized it was never about the trophy. It was about trying to prove something to people who weren't even watching anymore. He had mistaken validation for confidence. And that's when it hit him. Confidence isn't about proving your value. It's about knowing it without proof. You want to know the fastest way to destroy your confidence? Compare yourself to someone else. You scroll through your feed. You see their highlight reels, their success, their beauty, their life, and you whisper, "Why not me?" But you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's edited trailer. You see their shine, but not their shadows, their wins, but not their wounds. And you start doubting your path because it doesn't look like theirs. But the truth is, confidence dies the moment you start living someone else's story. You can't build self-trust if you're busy trying to be somebody else. And the irony, the people you envy are probably doubting themselves, too. Everyone's fighting a silent battle. Everyone's pretending to have it together. But the ones who win are the ones who stop pretending. To become truly confident, you must let go of three things. 1. The need for approval. Confidence and approval can't live in the same room. The moment you chase other people's validation, you surrender your peace. Do good things, yes. Be kind, yes. But don't let their applause decide your worth. Because if they can give you confidence, they can take it away. 2. The fear of judgment. No matter what you do, someone will talk. Someone will misunderstand. Someone will doubt you. Let them. The truth is, people don't judge you for what you do. They judge you because they're afraid to do it themselves. So let them watch while you build. 3. The shame of your past. Confidence dies when you keep punishing yourself for who you used to be. But you're not your mistakes. You're the lessons that grew from them. Your past isn't something to hide. It's proof you survived. You can build all the confidence in the world and still feel like something's chasing you. That's because no matter how far you go, your old self tries to follow. That version of you that was scared, uncertain, insecure, it doesn't disappear overnight. Sometimes it whispers again. Remember when you failed? Remember how they laughed? Remember how small you felt? And for a moment, you hesitate. But here's the secret. That voice doesn't mean you've lost confidence. It means you're growing. Because confidence isn't the absence of your old self. It's learning to look that version in the eye and say, "Thank you for getting me here, but I don't need you anymore." That's when true confidence begins. When you stop fighting your past and start forgiving it. Remember the boy who used to hate his reflection? One morning, years later, he stood in front of that same mirror. But this time, he didn't search for perfection. He just looked at the scars, the tired eyes, the history written on his face. And instead of saying, "You're not enough," He whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trying again. Thank you for not giving up when it hurt." And for the first time, he didn't see his reflection as a flaw. He saw it as proof. Proof that he had fallen, failed, and fought, and still stood. That's what confidence really looks like. It's quiet. It's humble. It's earned. You want a formula? Here it is. Confidence equals self-trust plus self-acceptance plus repetition. Self-trust. Keep your word, even when no one's watching. Each promise kept build strength inside you. Self-acceptance. Love who you are now, not who you wish you were, because you can't grow from a place of hate. Repetition. Do the hard thing, again and again. Confidence grows when your mind learns you don't break under pressure. It's not magic. It's muscle. And every time you use it, it gets stronger. But here's something most people don't see coming. When you finally become confident, you'll lose people. Some will say you've changed. Others will try to pull you back to who you used to be, because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your light exposes their shadow. But don't dim it to make them comfortable. Let them see what's possible. Because real confidence doesn't just lift you, it invites others to rise too. One day, that same boy, the one who once hid behind silence, stood in a crowded hall, not to prove himself, not to impress anyone, just to speak truth. He told his story, the fear, the failures, the nights he almost quit. And as he spoke, he noticed something incredible. People weren't laughing anymore. They were listening. Some were even crying, because what people connect with isn't perfection, it's authenticity. And that's when he realized the world doesn't need another flawless person. It needs more real ones. Confidence isn't about holding tighter. It's about letting go. Letting go of your need to impress. Letting go of the fear that you'll never be enough. Letting go of who you were so you can become who you're meant to be. Because when you stop chasing what the world says you should be, you finally meet who you really are. And that person, that's the one who's unstoppable. You don't have to shout to be confident. You just have to believe quietly. You don't have to win every time. You just have to stand back up. Confidence doesn't come when the fear disappears. It comes when you realize you can move forward with the fear. Because courage isn't the opposite of fear. It's dancing with it. And when you do, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. So here's the challenge. Before the day ends, do one small thing you've been avoiding. Send that message. Speak that truth. Take that step. Not because you're fearless, but because you're ready to trust yourself again. And when that small victory comes, don't rush past it. Celebrate it. Because every act of courage, no matter how small, builds a foundation of unshakable confidence. And remember, you don't need to become someone new. You just need to return to the person you were before the world told you to doubt yourself. That's where unstoppable confidence begins. But here's the question you must face next. If confidence starts within, what happens when the world tries to break it from the outside? They laughed, not behind his back, right in his face. "Who do you think you are?" one said. "You'll never make it," another smirked. Their words cut deep, but what hurt most was that part of him believed them. He went home that night, eyes wide open in the dark, thinking maybe they were right. Maybe he was just pretending. Maybe he didn't belong. And yet, something inside refused to die. A quiet voice, small but steady, whispered, "Don't stop now." Because what he didn't realize yet was that doubt, from others or from yourself, isn't a sign you're not ready. It's proof that you're doing something that matters. You see, the world plays a dangerous game. It doubts what it doesn't understand. Every person who's ever built something great was called crazy, arrogant, impossible, until they did it. Then everyone called them brilliant. But the path between those two moments, that's where most people give up. Not because they aren't capable, but because they believe the noise around them more than the voice within them. And here's the truth no one tells you. Confidence doesn't crumble when the world doubts you. It crumbles when you start agreeing with it. Imagine this. You're walking toward your dream, and suddenly, the world goes dark. Friends disappear. Opportunities vanish. People you trusted turn their backs. You start hearing whispers. You've changed. You're not the same anymore. You think you're better than us. And it hurts because all you ever wanted was to make something of your life. But that's what storms do. They don't just test your plan. They test your identity. They strip away every illusion until only one question remains. Do you still believe in yourself when no one else does? Because that's where real confidence is born, not in praise, but in pressure, not when the lights are bright, but when everything goes dark and you choose to shine anyway. Let's be honest, the loudest voice of doubt isn't out there. It's in your head, that voice that says, you're not enough, you're too late, you're not as good as them. You can't silence that voice completely, but you can starve it. Every time you take action, you feed confidence and starve fear. Every time you show up, you teach your mind that you're safe in the unknown. The voice will whisper again, but one day it won't scare you anymore because you'll know what it is. It's not truth. It's just the echo of old limitations, trying to survive in your new reality. And when that day comes, you'll smile when you hear it because you'll know you've finally outgrown your old fear. If you want to stay confident when the world doubts you, remember these 3 rules. Rule number 1, silence isn't weakness. You don't have to fight every critic. Let your results speak louder than your rebuttals. A lion doesn't argue with dogs barking at the gate. It just keeps walking. Rule number 2, rejection isn't a mirror, it's a filter. When someone says no, it doesn't mean you're not enough. It means they weren't ready to see your value. Rejection doesn't close doors. It redirects you to the right ones. Rule number 3, failure isn't the end, it's evidence. Every failure means you were brave enough to try. And the people who never fail, they're the ones who never dared to start. Remember, confidence isn't about never falling. It's about falling so many times that the ground stops scaring you. One day, the same boy who used to doubt himself was told by his boss, "You're not leadership material." It stung. He wanted to argue. He wanted to prove them wrong right there. But instead, he went home, sat in silence, and made a decision that would change his life. He whispered, "I don't need your permission to grow." And from that day on, he stopped waiting for approval. He started building his own vision, his own rhythm, his own destiny. Years later, the same company that doubted him invited him back. This time, not as an employee, but as a partner. Because the world that once ignored you will one day quote you. If you don't give up before your moment arrives, let me tell you the truth. Every dream you chase will awaken 2 forces, faith and fear. They walk beside you, step by step. Fear tells you, you're not ready. Faith whispers, you already are. Fear shows you what could go wrong. Faith reminds you why you started. And the one you feed most wins. Confidence doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you choose faith louder than fear. Every single day. That's how legends are made. Not in one big leap, but in 1,000 small moments. When they chose faith over doubt. The next time someone doubts you, don't take it personally. Take it as proof that you're stretching beyond the limits they understand. When they mock you, it means you're doing something they wish they had the courage to do. When they ignore you, it means you've stepped out of their comfort zone. When they attack you, it means you become a mirror, reflecting their own fears back at them. So smile. You're not failing. You're just too big for their vision. Because confidence isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out. Even when standing alone, confidence is like a flame. You have to protect it. Not because it's weak, but because the wind will always try to put out. Some days, that wind comes as criticism. Other days as loneliness. And sometimes it's just the exhaustion of trying again and again. But even when the flame flickers, never forget, as long as there's a spark, you can rise again. You are not defined by who believes in you. You're defined by who you become when no one does. So when the world doubts you, don't try to convince it otherwise. Just keep going. Because sooner or later, Your results will make the noise. Your words never could. The secret to unstoppable confidence isn't found in praise. It's found in persistence. It's in showing up when no one notices. It's in believing when everyone doubts. It's in trusting that your path still has purpose, even when you can't see the light ahead. Because the truth is, confidence isn't about knowing everything will go right. It's about knowing you'll be okay even if it doesn't. It's standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I can handle this. That's real power. That's real freedom. That's real confidence. And once you've built that, nothing and no one can take it from you. So here's my question for you. What will you do the next time someone doubts you? Will you shrink, or will you stand tall and say, watch me? Because the world doesn't get to decide what you're capable of. You do. Every no you hear is a chance to build stronger faith. Every doubt you face is another weight you lift. And with every challenge, you're not just building confidence. You're building character. But be warned, there's one more challenge that destroys more confidence than fear or failure combined. It's subtle. It's silent. And almost everyone falls for it. Do you know what it is? Sometimes, the hardest thing in life is not starting. It's believing you're worthy to begin. You've heard the voices long enough. The ones that said you weren't ready, weren't good enough, weren't meant for this. You've carried their words in your chest like stones. But what if I told you those words were never yours to carry? Confidence isn't built by erasing fear. It's built by walking through fear so many times that it loses its power over you. There comes a day, maybe it's the day, when you get tired of being afraid, tired of waiting, tired of doubting. You wake up and something feels different. The same world, same challenges, same fear. But this time, you move anyway. That moment, when you take the first step even though your hands shake, that's when confidence is born. Not when people clap for you. Not when everything finally feels easy. But when your heart is pounding, your voice is trembling, and you say, I'm doing it anyway. That's real confidence. Because the truth is, the most powerful people in the world still feel fear. The difference? They just stopped letting fear be the decision maker. You got a voice inside you, one that's been whispering for years. Hey, you can do this. But it's been buried under noise, judgment, comparison, doubt. That voice is not loud. It's quiet, patient, persistent, waiting for you to finally listen. When you do, the world begins to shift. Because suddenly, confidence stops being something you chase and becomes something you choose. It's not a gift someone hands you. It's a muscle you build every time you show up scared and do it anyway. So start small. Speak when your voice shakes. Raise your hand even when you're not sure the answer. Walk into the room even if no one invites you. That's how confidence grows. Here's the biggest secret. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. Think about that. The reason your chest tightens and your stomach knots is because your soul knows what's in front of you could change everything. Fear only shows up for the moments that matter most. That's why confident people don't wait to feel ready. They move while afraid. And that's how they build unstoppable momentum. They've learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else is more important. So the next time fear whispers, what if you fail? You whisper back, what if I don't? There's a fire inside you. It's been dimmed, not destroyed. Every disappointment, every rejection, every no, they've all been wood for that fire. And today you decide that fire burns again. Confidence is not born in comfort. It's forged in the moments that test your strength, in the times when nobody believes in you, not even you. But if you can push through that silence, if you can show up when no one claps, if you can stand tall when the world looks away, that's when your confidence stops depending on validation. It becomes unshakable. Because no one can take away what you built from the ashes. You might think the world doesn't need what you have, but it does. There's someone out there waiting to see you rise. Someone who will believe in themselves because they saw you do it first. Your courage will become someone else's permission slip. So when you speak, don't whisper. Speak with your chest. When you walk, don't shuffle. Move like you belong. Because you do. The world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs real ones. People who fall and get back up. People who doubt, but move forward anyway. That's confidence. That's power. That's you. There's one last thing you need to know. Confidence doesn't start when people finally see your worth. It starts when you do, when you look in the mirror and say, I'm enough. I'm ready. I'm done hiding. You don't need to fix everything before you take action. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to believe that progress, no matter how small, is better than standing still. And when you do, when you take that first step today, you'll realize that all along, you were never waiting for confidence. Confidence was waiting for you. So here's the truth they never told you. Confidence isn't what makes you unstoppable. It's what you build when you refuse to stop. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every scar, every fear, every stumble, they're not proof that you're weak. They're proof that you kept going. So don't let your story end here. Let today be the day you walk taller, speak louder, and dream bigger. Because you were never meant to live quietly. You were meant to move mountains. And you can. You will. Now don't just listen. Act. Start that project. Speak up in that meeting. Post that idea. Take the first step today. Because confidence doesn't grow from waiting. It grows from doing. And the more you do, the more unstoppable you become. So go ahead, step forward with trembling hands, shaking knees, and a heart that's still learning to believe. Because the moment you do, that's when your power begins. That's when the world meets the real you. And this time, you're not backing down.